Welcome, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining our Get Ready for Event Weekend webinar with guest speaker Tim Flom. And I am hearing a little bit of background noise, so I'm just going to go ahead and mute a few people, or you can mute yourself. Give us just 1 second. And everybody will be unmuted for questions. Okay, great. So let's get going. Welcome. So today we are going to be going over 2019 venue changes, our official event map, our brand new shuttle service schedule, which we're very excited to announce, the official schedule of events, a packing list for what to bring on your bike and what to bring down to New Bern for those of you who live outside the New Bern area, some fundraising incentives, some clubs that you can join if you hit certain milestones. And then we're going to have a road safety presentation by our guest speaker, Tim Flom. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sammy Amons, who is the senior manager of all Bike MS events in the Carolinas. And she's going to talk a little bit about the impacts of Hurricane Florence. Oh, and I cannot hear you. Did I mute you?
Oh, you're good. Thank you, Cole, and thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon. We're looking forward to another great year at Bike MS. Actually, both to share. As many of you know, just a few short days after Bike MS last year, the city of New Bern experienced the devastating impact of Hurricane Florence. The city remains steadfast in their commitment of hosting one of the best Bike MS events in the country, and they're ready to welcome us with open arms as we arrive in town on Friday, September 6th. One of the most heartwarming responses of the Bike MS community was the supply drive that one of our committee members, Brandy Sadler, organized with the help of other participants in the Triangle area. Thank you to all who contributed to support a town who has supported us for 20+ years. To support businesses in downtown New Bern, we encourage you to spend Friday evening of event weekend out and about on the town visiting local restaurants and shops in the downtown area. New Bern is back and better than ever and ready to welcome us. So we're looking forward to a great time and just wanted everyone to be aware that we are still are under the impacts of Hurricane Florence. So that is why some of our event venues have changed for this year. Cole, I'll toss it back to you.
Well, thank you so much for giving some insight into the impacts of Hurricane Florence. We're very excited to be back in New Bern and to really stand with the community that has given us so much for the past few decades. And we're very excited for September. So I did want to take a second and highlight this picture. This is Union Point Park. Everything is up, back and running. We have a few less trees, but I did want to kind of demonstrate how severe the weather was during Hurricane Florence. But the start and finish will remain at Union Point Park. So let's move on to some venue changes. And I know everybody has been asking about this, kind of our contention plan, what we're going to do without the convention center. And this year, we're going to be having packet pickup in the North Carolina History Center, which is about 3 or 4 blocks away from Union Point Park. We will have a shuttle running from Union Point Park to the Bridgepoint and to the North Carolina History Center, and we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to our shuttle service schedule. And Saturday night dinner is what I'm most excited about. It's going to be a truly unforgettable evening. We're going to be having it on the south lawn of the Tryon Palace, and that is that picture that you see right here. It's absolutely beautiful. It's right on the water. It's one of New Bern's most historic sites, so get really excited because this is going to be a very special event. And Bike Lockup is going to be in a walled tent in front of the Doubletree Hotel, kind of in the parking lot in between the convention center and the Doubletree. We are going to have a guard on that, but it will be the same size as the convention center ballroom. We are expecting a few more bikes this year with the closing of a few hotels, so it is first come, first serve. So I recommend checking in early and dropping off your bike as soon as possible. So here is our 2019 event map. I want to take a second to highlight Union Point Park. That is what you guys are familiar with. That's still going to be our home base. The New Bern Convention Center is closed, so we will not be using that, as well as the Doubletree by Hilton. That is closed for the remainder of 2019 as well. The bike mechanics are going to be up in this parking lot right across the street from Union Point Park. And right in front of that is the info kiosk. Now, the info kiosk is going to be a wealth of information. It's going to be general information, volunteer check-in on Saturday and Sunday, and a variety of other facilities are going to be hosted there. So that is actually the standing kind of covered veranda right in front of the convention center, if you guys are familiar with that. So we're going to have tables under there. And then right next to that, we're going to be having a shuttle stop. Now, this shuttle stop is going to be dropping off and going to the hotels. It's going to be going to the History Center, all over, and we'll get more into that later. And then you can see in front of the Doubletree by Hilton that we have the bike lockup tent. This is super important, so make sure to note that. And all of the blue signs are parking. So parking is most likely going to fill up a little quicker because a few people are going to be commuting from the outskirts of town. So again, make sure to get there early to get the spot that you need. So we're going to get more into the venue changes in a second, but the North Carolina History Center is going to be our Friday packet pickup, and you can see that that's just 3 blocks away. So you're free to walk. We also have the shuttles. We have bike mechanics there on Friday night, and then our Saturday night is going to be on the south lawn of the Tryon Palace. Now, I know this is what everybody's really excited about. We have our event map and our Union Point Park Team Village. So this will be sent out to all of the team captains, so they'll make sure to share where your team is located this year. And just take a quick second, look it over. We're going to have a lot of activity going on there, so it's going to be a really good time. Okay, so I am really excited to talk to you guys today about our shuttle service schedule. This is the first year that we've done this, and we wanted to do this because a lot of people are really spread out this year. So we want to make sure that everybody has full accessibility of all the venues that we're offering this year. And I did want to note before we begin that no bikes are going to be allowed on the shuttle due to space limitations. So I recommend checking in on Friday, dropping it off at the bike lockup tent, and heading back to your hotel. And all of these shuttles are going to be running on a 30-minute loop continuously from Friday to Sunday. So the first route we have is from the North Carolina History Center to Union Point Park to the Bridge Point. And you can see the times there. All the hotel shuttles, which are listed here, the Candlewood Suites, Comfort Suites, Hampton Inn, Holiday Inn, Spring Hill Suites, Hampton Inn Havelock, and Hampton Inn Holiday Inn Express Havelock will be running on the schedule listed below. And our last schedule, our last shuttle that we will be offering is the Club K and Top 100 reception shuttle service. So that's just going to be from Friday 6 to 9:30, and you must have a ticket for entry for that VIP event. So moving on to the schedule of events. We're going to go through this kind of briefly because I want to highlight some of the changes, what you guys are going to be expecting with the venues, and then we're going to go over where you can find this information other than this presentation. So starting off, as we said before, all rider and volunteer check-in is going to be at the North Carolina History Center from 3 to 9 p.m. The campgrounds also open then in Union Point Park as they have every year. And then this is the location of the bike lockup tent right below it. Bike mechanics are also available from 3 to 9 p.m. And we will also be having our shuttle service during that time period. I also want to highlight the Bike MS Vendor Expo. That's going to be at the North Carolina History Center out on the back patio overlooking the water. So on your way out from packet pickup and registration, make sure to stop by there because we have a lot of really exciting vendors this year. And importantly, for first-year riders, for people who want a brief touch-up, I recommend attending our rider safety orientation that also takes place at the History Center. And lastly, if you have raised $1,000 or more, or you are part of our top 100, then you are invited to our VIP reception, and we have our shuttle from 6 to 9 p.m. So moving on to Saturday, the shuttle service is going to begin at 6 a.m. and that's going to drop off right in front of the info kiosk at the North Carolina Convention Center. The bike lockup tent will also open at 6, as well as the rider and volunteer check-in. Breakfast starts at 6:30, runs till 9 at Union Point Park. And we will also have a deluxe breakfast from 6:30 to 9 a.m. for our VIP members. We have team photos from 7 to 8 a.m. And we will be sending out that schedule shortly to our team captains so that they can share that and you guys can get ready for your team photo. We have some bike mechanics available. We have our welcome, and our official start is at 8 a.m. Now it is staggered. We release about 100 cyclists every 5 minutes. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you're there by 8 o'clock a.m. And then all cyclists have to be on the course by 9. And volunteer check-in is 10 a.m. to 6. We've got lunch en route from 10 to 12:30 at rest stop 4. And then if you hit Union Point Park before 3 p.m., make sure to grab lunch. We're also going to have our football viewing tent that we had last year from 12 to 4. So continuing Saturday, we're going to have our massage therapist available from 12 to 6. Shuttle service to hotels is going to resume 3 o'clock to 9:30 p.m. And then we invite you guys to join our happy hour on the south lawn of the Tryon Palace starting at 4 p.m. and running until 9. Dinner service actually starts at 5 p.m. and by 6 p.m. all routes are closed, but you have until 9 o'clock to head over and grab some food. So we encourage you to do that so that you can get refueled for Sunday. And then our VIP reception. So this is a private tent for our VIP members, and that's going to have some deluxe appetizers. So that's also from 4 to 9. And then we're going to have a short program from 7 to 8, kind of ending with our live jersey competition at 7:45. So we made it to Sunday. The final push. So it's very similar to Saturday. Everything starts at 6. Everybody has to be on the route by 8. And then we're going to have lunch on the route again from 10 to 12:30. Shuttle service to hotel is going to be running from 12 to 5. And by 5 p.m., all the routes are going to close. So that means that you did it and you had a fantastic event weekend. So I went through that really quickly. So I want to highlight where else that you can find this information because it's super important that you have all the addresses, all the information heading in, make sure to review it. And if you have any questions, just refer to that. So you should have gotten a pre-ride guide delivered to you in the mail. If you have registered recently, it is coming to you soon. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we have our schedule events listed on our website, which the link is provided right there. And that can be found under our event updates tab. So there's an image there, and it actually includes a couple of stop signs, and that highlights all the venue changes that you're going to be expecting this year. So feel free to send that to your team members, print it out, bring it along, and then we're also adding it to Facebook, so you can find it on there. Okay, so moving on to our packing list. We want to make sure that you guys are extra super prepared for event weekend so that you guys can have a safe and comfortable ride. This is the packing list for what we ask you guys to bring on your bike, mandatory and highly recommended. But if you are camping out or if you are traveling from outside the New Bern area, your packing list is going to be a little bit more extensive. So we're going to be adding something that outlines that, what people typically bring to our website. So look forward to that. But mandatory, all riders must have a helmet. You always must have your rider bib on. You have to have your bike number, your wristband, and your ID. We highly recommend that you have comfortable cycling gear. It's going to make your ride a lot easier shorts, jerseys, socks, gloves, sunglasses. It's been extra sunny these past few years, so we really recommend those. Cycling shoes are going to make your life a whole lot easier. Rain gear, because we ride rain or shine. Spare tube or patch kit, pump CO2, water bottles. That honestly should be mandatory because everybody needs to be super hydrated. We do have water at all the rest stops every 10 to 12 miles. So you will have the opportunity to refill plenty, but we want to make sure everybody's very hydrated. Sunscreen and then health insurance card. This is super important just for safety reasons, and it will help if anything happens for health information, and we can see your list of medications as well. Now I'm going to turn the mic over to Tim, and he is going to talk a little bit about how he's been involved with Bike MS, and all of that good stuff. Now let me just find you on here, Tim, and unmute you. Sorry about the delay. Oh, there you are, Tim. Okay. Hey, Tim, welcome.
Hey, Cole, thanks for that, and thanks, Sammy, for letting me speak today. I really enjoy doing the MS ride, and I've done it a few years, and I've enjoyed working with Cole and Sammy on this off and on different events. And today I'd like to talk about some safety tips, of course, which is the slide that's up there now. And point number one is actually, very important. It's just a ride. You're there to enjoy yourself and get the ride done. It's certainly not a race. The time that you come in is not, any sort of, like key data point or anything. The second, point, if you're a semi-new rider, it's not a good idea to join a pace line if you haven't trained with that previously. People will know, almost immediately if you can draft or not. So I certainly would not recommend getting in a pace line if you're not used to that. The hand signals. So, my thought is hand signals are good, but in some cases, the people behind you might not be looking right there where you do your hand signal. So I've always been much more up on, sort of, the loud, slowing, stopping kind of thing, as opposed to, just straight up hand signals. But hand signals are good, of course, and you should actually use both when you, make any sort of turn or, any sort of change, that you're doing, like slowing, stopping, et cetera. The fourth point, no earbuds. That's, self-evident. You need to be focused on, riding with, with a group. I'm assuming some of the people on this list, on this presentation, are not that used to riding with a group, and it is somewhat different. You just have to, to think in terms of there's people in front of me, there's people behind me, and I shouldn't do anything sudden that is going to mess up anyone behind me and or in front of me. The fifth point, saying slowing, stopping, that kind of thing, I'm really big on that. I've just been, on rides where people either slow down or stop right in front of me. In fact, I was on the MS ride a couple of years ago, and a lady dropped her phone, and she stopped like right in front of me. And, thankfully, I had enough space between me and her, so I didn't actually hit her. I slowed down, and then I swerved off. But, always say slowing and stopping if you have to stop. And that kind of, keys into the second point. Just assume that the person in front of you might stop, and you need to leave yourself enough space. Kind of like, when you're in a car, you want to leave yourself enough space in case the car in front of you suddenly stops. And that's, of course, assuming that you're not in a pace line. So, just leave plenty of space. Just be aware of your surroundings and everybody around you, of course. Now, accidents are going to happen, of course. They always do on big rides. I would say that, as I said, I enjoy the MS ride more than any other ride that I do. And they're very safe, and they're very well supported with SAG, and all the rest stops, and all the events that they have that Cole's already talked about. But they're going to happen. But it's been my experience that they happen more often when a lot of cyclists are either starting out of somewhere or slowing down and stopping and going into, say, a rest stop or the actual start of the ride. So, just kind of be more careful and even more aware when you slow down to, pull into a rest stop, and, be careful when you're leaving the rest stop, because, unfortunately, there's a lot of cyclists, and, we pull into a rest stop, and you drink something, you're talking and you're excited, and then you leave the rest stop and you forget your gloves. And then suddenly, if someone does that, they might stop suddenly and just make a U-turn. So, just be more aware as you're pulling out of a rest stop. On the 30-mile route, which is a great route, which actually is my favorite and the one that I do every time I do the ride, and I really enjoy it. There's probably going to be more inexperienced cyclists on that route, than any other route. So if you are doing the 30, just be aware of that. And I would certainly recommend, a lot of cyclists, talk about, how far did you ride? And, to me, it's more about the experience. It's not, how many miles you can put in. It's more, did you enjoy yourself? And, was it a good experience for you? So I try not to get caught up in, how many miles have been ridden. And then the last point is, as, Cole had some other slides about this. It's a great weekend. If you're on this call and you haven't done the ride, you're really, really going to have a good time. If you have done the ride, Cole and Sammy work very hard to, make sure that the cyclists are safe and that they enjoy themselves and they have, plenty to do. So, as I said, it's really well supported, but, certainly enjoy yourself. Don't pick a route that, you think might be a little bit beyond your ability, number one. And the other thing is, historically, it can be very, very hot, which, adds just another layer of not complication, but another layer of difficulty to the ride. So anyway, that's it. If anyone has any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them. And if not, I can kick it back to Cole.
Awesome, Tim. Thank you so much for that. I think we're going to take a few questions at the end if everybody wants to stick around, but we're almost there. So I am very grateful for that presentation. That was absolutely fantastic. Some really good information to share with people. So let's move on to our fundraising incentives. So this is really exciting. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with the term jewelry boomerang. We've used that for a very long time, and we wanted to announce that we are transitioning that title into Club K. And the reason for this is because now all Bike and Mass events are going to be using the term Club K. So you are going to be joining a national club recognizing this tremendous achievement. And it's really exciting. So basically what it means is that everybody who raises more than $1,000, so hence Club K. And once you hit that fundraising milestone, you are eligible for a Halo Prize, a 2019 event t-shirt, a Club K jersey, which we're very excited to release the design of that during event weekend, and a 2020 special event bib, VIP restrooms on the route, an invite to the Club K and Top 100 welcome reception, which we talked a little bit about earlier, but that's just an incredible event. It takes place at Copper Ridge, overlooking the water in just this absolutely stunning venue. There's some food, there's some live entertainment. It's fantastic. And you will also have first access to hotels in 2020, which is absolutely key because those fill up really fast. And I did want to take a second and announce another change. So this is the first year that if you raise $1,000 by event weekend, you will be able to be eligible for all of the perks of the Club K. So work towards that. We've got a little over 20 days. So it's completely achievable. If you haven't shared your Facebook fundraiser yet, go ahead and link that up. Our previous webinar went over that. So check that out. That's on our website and on Facebook. And now I'm going to move to the top 100 benefits. So these are our top 100 fundraisers over the entire event. They also win a Halo Prize. They get the event t-shirt, Club K jersey, special event bib in 2020, VIP restrooms en route, invite to the welcome reception. first access to hotels in 2020, but they also get on Saturday morning and Sunday morning, they get a VIP breakfast with deluxe items, and then a VIP reception again on Saturday evening. And it takes place during the Saturday night dinner, but it's in its separate tent. Everybody's welcome to dinner, even if you're not a Top 100 member. But the Top 100 members, they get some extra appetizers and some extra VIP treatment. And then for the following year, you get free registration to thank you for all of your hard work and fundraising to end the fight against MS. So to wrap things up, before we go into our questions, we talked about our 2019 venue changes. We talked about our event map, shuttle service schedule, schedule of events, packing lists, road safety, thank you, Tim, and our fundraising incentives. So I just want to thank everybody for joining, and let's move into some questions. I'm going to unmute everybody, and feel free to
Hey, good afternoon. This is Tim. This is actually not a question, but I just wanted to say, when you do the ride, please thank the volunteers at the rest stop and the start of the ride and the people that serve the dinner Saturday night, because they're giving up their time also. Thanks.
I have a question. Will we be getting a hard copy of this information?
And once I am the background noise, so I would ask people to mute themselves, people not asking. Okay, great. Yes, so you will be receiving a hard copy of this information. That is going to be coming to you in the mail. If you registered after the end of July, then we'll be sending that to you shortly. It has event schedule. Okay, and I'm still getting Okay, perfect. So, did that answer your question?
Yes. Sorry, I kept myself muted. Yes,
No,
thank you.
Fine. No worries at all. Did anybody else have any other questions?
Yes, I have a question. I'm going to be camping, and I just had a question of where you put your bike Saturday night into Sunday. Is there a place to store your bike, or do I put it back in my car, or where would it go?
Yes, so if you're going to be camping, I highly recommend putting your bike in the bike lockup tent, which I put on the screen for you. And that is just a block away from Union Point Park. That's completely free. It's a walled tent, and it's super safe. So I recommend dropping it off there after the ride.
Okay, great. Thanks. I missed the first part of your presentation, so I appreciate that.
No worries. We're recording everything, so you are welcome to check out the beginning whenever you get the chance.
Thank you.
Cole, Steve Krause, coming in from Iowa, and we will be staying, a bunch of us family have rented a house. And can we drive fairly close to start this morning, Saturday morning, and drop our bikes off and then ride a few blocks? Is that possible?
Yes, so bike lockup opens at 6 a.m. All of the parking is highlighted on the map on the screen. And if you're getting there, close to 6, before 7 o'clock, I would say you're not going to have an issue. But yeah, that would work out perfectly.
Okay, and have you sent 2 checking stickers? I do all my own bike maintenance, and I'm bringing my daughter's bike too. Is that in the mail yet?
Yes, we are getting some stickers today, and those will be going out by the end of this week.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Did we have any other questions?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, so just as a couple of things, experienced rider here. I can't stress enough communication in the pace line, whether it's verbal or hand signal. Sometimes it's better to be verbal so people can hear exactly what you're saying, what you're calling out. If there's holes left, hole middle, hole right, those types of things, slowing when you're coming into a stop. If anyone in the Raleigh area would like just to brush up on how to ride in the pace line, there's a group called the Slow Spokes, and they ride on Tuesday and Thursday nights. And lately they've been holding some rides that are within the 13 to 15 mile per hour average pace. And the folks there will teach you how to ride in the pace line if anybody would like a refresher or just like to be a little more comfortable riding in a pace line. They ride there on Tuesday and Thursday nights, and the ride can be found on Meetup. It takes place out of the Tobacco Trailhead Park on New Hope Church Road. So, feel free to join if you want to either brush up on the skill or just become more comfortable in the pace line at that pace.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That is some really good information, and I hope people take advantage of that. That was a very generous offer. Thank you.
So I have a question on our package pickup.
Yes.
Last year, I think we picked them up at the Society here in Raleigh. Mm-hmm. Are they still going to be available here, or do we have to pick them up when we get to New Bern?
No, we are going to be having a packet pickup in the Raleigh office, and we are going to be announcing the times for that shortly, but it's at the end of August.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Cole, I can speak to that if that would be helpful. So the in-office packet pickup will be Wednesday, August 28th and Thursday, August 29th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Friday, August 30th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Great information. Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for sharing. Did we have any other questions?
Hi, Cole.
Hey.
I don't know if you can hear me. Jim Phillips coming in from New Jersey for the ride. I have a quick question though. I'm registered as a rider. Mm-hmm. Recently injured my back. Hopefully it'll be better by ride time, but if not, is it easy to register between being a rider and a volunteer the day of the event, if necessary?
Absolutely. So that is a completely easy transition, and I'm so sorry about that injury, and I wish you a speedy recovery. So I can give you the information of our volunteer specialist, and we can get you guys hooked up with that.
Okay, great. And the same, if I'm registered to go for 100 miles, but can maybe make 50 miles, is that an easy transition as well?
Yes, you can change your route option up until the day of.
Very good. One other question. If I do decide to ride with my friends and they're on the 100 mile and it gets to about maybe 25 miles or so and I don't know that I can make 100, can I just turn right back?
So we actually, our routes are designed in a loop. So there are a few exit points that you can exit off of. I believe Sammy might be able to speak more to this, but at the 50-mile mark, there is a way that you can turn back around and come back to New Bern.
Yeah, so we can follow up with you via email and send you the route options just so you can familiarize yourself with what that looks like and where you would need to make that decision on the distance that you're planning to ride. But our route is completely supported by SAG vehicles, so we always recommend to just call them if you are struggling, and what they'll do is take you to the next rest stop, and then you can finish the ride from there.
Great. Thank you, ladies.
No problem.
Thank you. Okay, we'll give it a little bit more for questions if anybody wants to hop on.
All right, quick question. So the top 100, is that the top 100 from last year's donations?
Yes, the top 100 will be from last year. The Club K will be from this year. And that is because our fundraising deadline ends in November. So going into the event, it wouldn't be an accurate representation of our 2019 top 100. So we'll be from last year.
Is there a list? Is there a list of last year's top 100?
Yeah, and that is on the website as well. And that is underneath the fundraising tab and the clubs and incentives. And we are happy to follow up with you.
Great. Thank you.
And Steve, what's your last name?
Mariani, M-A-R-I-A-N-I.
Awesome, thank you.
What if the weather is inhospitable on Saturday night for dinner?
So we will do our Saturday night dinner on Tryon Palace, rain or shine. We are hoping, of course, for good weather, but in case there is rain or whatnot, we do have a tent over us and we will have sidewalls. So we will still be offering all of the activities along with event weekend, rain or shine.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so last call for questions.
You said the website is bikemsnewbern.org?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay. Because I seem to keep going back to the National Society, but I will continue to try.
Okay, and you said you were located outside the North Carolina area?
No, ma'am, I'm in Raleigh.
Okay, then it should send you there, but we'll be happy to follow up with that link as well.
If I log in to my personal pages, will I find last year's 100 in there?
If you log into your personal page, that will be on the website, and you'll be able to access the top 100 list under the fundraising and then the clubs and incentives.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Steve, I'm sending you over that list right now to your StephenM@nc.rr. So that's coming your way.
Oh, wonderful.
All systems, right click and update.
Okay, did anybody have anything else?
I just wanted to thank everybody for their hard work for this event. I know it's a lot to take on, and appreciative of all your efforts for everything that you guys do day in and day out, answering questions, responding to emails and everything. So, you know, thank you kindly for everything. It's definitely a fun weekend, and you know, this is my 7th event, 3 in Rhode Island and my 4th in New Bern, and from a person that has MS, you know, I appreciate everybody and what they do and what they have done and continue to do. So thank you again. That's all I had.
Thank you so much for your kind words. That really means the world to us. We also want to thank you guys as participants. None of this would be possible without your hard work. Last week I sent out an email, but we raised over $100,000, and that's all thanks to you guys going out into the community, connecting with your friends and families, and then showing up event weekend and, you know, putting those pedals to work. So we are eternally grateful for your support in ending the fight against MS. So thank you for those kind words. Okay, y'all. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining today. This is our third and final webinar of the year. Our other 2 webinars can be found online. Check out the Facebook fundraising one that we did last month. That goes over how to link your Facebook fundraiser. Our guest speaker is Elizabeth Page, who's a national board member. Highly recommend that you check that out. And this recording will be posted online by the end of the week. And I look forward to seeing you guys down in New Bern in September.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you kindly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, y'all.